Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be looking at the NFC West, the final division. We've already done all of their 7, so make sure you check all of those videos out. They're all up on the channel right now. Later in the week on Wednesday, we're going to do our playoff predictions based on every single prediction video I've done for the NFL. So looking at all the standings, all the record predictions I've done, we're going to put that in a playoff bracket and see who my preseason pick is for the Super Bowl. But for this video, we're going to look at the 4 teams in the NFC West, predict their whole schedule, and I'm going to let you know who I think will make the playoffs and what seeding they will get. With all that being said, though, not only do we do NFL, I know it's the past week or two, it's been a lot of NFL heavy. That's just because the season's starting up, but we also do college basketball, college football, NBA, and MLB. There's certain times in the year where we're posting 5 times a week, so you're going to want to subscribe to the channel right now. The content's really picking up right now, and it's going to continue to pick up, so make sure you get on there, subscribe to the noties to make sure you don't miss whenever we post. Real quick, links in the description. As always, X, Twitch, TikTok, Discord. Follow those, join all those. But with all that being said, let's take a look at the NFC West. So the team that I think will finish last place, I don't think this is any surprise. I do think it's going to be the Cardinals. I will say, though, I think the Cardinals are going to be better than people expect. I really do. I think Kyler Murray coming back, they bring in Marvin Harrison, still have James Conner on the offense, still got Trey McBride going into his second year. He was really good last year. They have some guys still on the team, and when you look at this team top to bottom, defensively they're not the best, but I wouldn't call them the worst defense in the league by all means. So I think this team is going to be better than people think. I think they're going to surprise some teams and win and maybe upset some teams. But with all that being said, let's take a look at their schedule. So week 1 in Buffalo against the Bills, I do think that'll be a loss. I think the Rams and the Lions both get them here. I just think they have a pretty tough first little stretch of their schedule, so I do think they'll start off a little slow. Also, with Kyler coming back from the injury, I think they will just naturally start off a little slow. They're just still a young team. Marvin Harrison's he's gonna get better as the season goes on. I didn't think they beat the Commanders, though. I think the fact that it's at home, I think they get their first one there. But I think these are back-to-back losses here in San Fran and in Lambeau. Those are going to be 2 losses for me. I think they beat the Chargers at home. I do think they lose at Miami. I think the Bears beat them. I think, just when looking at the team, I think the Bears just give them a little bit too much problems here, and I don't think they can really slow down the Bears' offense. Same with really just a lot of these games. I feel like the Cardinals can, the Chargers don't have much weapons anymore. The Commanders, they do, but Daniels will still be early in the season, so he won't be as, I think all these teams have weapons that the Cardinals will just have troubles, dealing with, I guess you could say. I do think they beat the Jets, though. I just feel like there's no way they lose. They're going to win one of the tough teams they play in these first 10 weeks. I think it'll be the Jets, just with it going into the bye. I feel like they get it done against the Jets at home. Coming out of the bye, though, at Seattle, that's going to be a loss for me. They just have too many receivers once again. Same with the Vikings. I don't know who's going to guard Justin Jefferson on this Cardinals team. I do think they beat the Seahawks second time around, though. I just think with it being this close together, I don't think there's any way they lose both of those. I think the Patriots beat them. It's hard for me to find games for the Patriots to win just because they're that bad. I feel like this is a game the Patriots could win, especially with them coming off the bye. I think the Patriots get it done. But I feel like they close out the season with a win over the Panthers. I do think they lose against the Rams. The Rams will still be fighting for playoff seeding here. And then home against the Niners, I think the Niners will have already wrapped up the division. I think the Niners may or may not have already wrapped up the NFC 1 seed. So I think the Cardinals do win this game. So yeah, I have them going 6-11. A lot of people are saying 4-13, 3-14 even. I don't think they'll be that bad. I do think they'll still struggle a little and be bad, but I think they're going to be better than a lot of people are saying. Kind of similar to what I have with the Commanders. I have the Commanders going 6-11 as well. I just feel like people aren't giving them a little bit of a hard time. I don't think they're giving them enough credit. But the next team we're going to be looking at here is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. I do think they finished third here. And kind of similar to the Bucks, I said this earlier today in my NFC South preview video. I just feel like the Seahawks are going to be either just right around 500 once again. I just feel like when looking at this team top to bottom, they're pretty average if you ask me. Geno Smith at QB kind of just holds them back a little. He's nothing crazy there. Still got DK Metcalf though. Still got Tyler Lockett. JSN's going into his second year. Kenneth Walker's going to develop as well. Same with the corners. Tariq Woolen, Devin Witherspoon. Both those guys are young. They got a lot of young guys. They got a lot of older guys too. They just nice mix here. I feel like they're just going to average out. But looking at the schedule, I think home against the Broncos, I think that'll be a win. I just feel like the Broncos are going to struggle this season, in all honesty. When looking at their team, there's nothing to get excited about for the Broncos. I think the Seahawks beat the Patriots. Same thing here. This is a very easy start to the season. I think they beat the Dolphins week 3. I feel like their offense can match up with the Dolphins, and I feel like just with it being early in the season in Seattle, it's a little bit of a tough, far travel. I think the Seahawks get it done. I do think they lose, though, against the Lions, but I think they respond with a win over the Giants. The Niners, that's going to be a loss for me. At the Falcons, that's going to be a loss for me. Home against the Bills, that's also going to be a loss for me. This is a pretty tough 4-game stretch here, even coming out of the bye. They have a tough stretch here from week 6 to 13. That's a tough stretch. I think they lose all 3 of these games, but I do think they beat the Rams at home. I just feel like they're good enough to split with the Rams. Coming out of the bye, though, at the 49ers, that's going to be a loss for me. Home against the Cardinals, I think they'll win. But at the Jets, that's going to be a loss. At the Cardinals, I don't think they beat the Cardinals twice in this close of a, with it being just 2 weeks apart. I think they beat the Packers at home, though. I also think they beat the Vikings at home. I just feel like, they get these 2 home games. I feel like they can match. I feel like they match up well with the Packers, and I feel like they're just a better team than the Vikings. But at the Bears, that's going to be a loss for me. I think at this point in the season, Caleb Williams will have really figured things out. So I think the Bears do get it done, and I feel like their defense can actually match up with Seattle's receivers. And I do think the Rams beat the Seahawks here in Week 18, putting the Seahawks at 8-9. I don't think they're good enough to sweep the Rams. In all honesty, I just feel like Seattle's going to be, again, around 500. I have them going 8-9 this season. But looking at our second place team, it's going to be the Los Angeles Rams. I feel like the people are forgetting how good the Rams were. Weren't the Rams? The Rams were they were at least 10-7 last year. They might have been 11-6. I don't really remember, but the Rams were really good. Stafford's still doing his thing. Kyron Williams is only going to get better. Puka Nacua is only going to get better. They still got Cooper Kupp there. The defense, they do lose Aaron Donald, so I am a little bit worried about the defense. I think the defense will take some steps back, but I feel like the offense honestly can take some steps forward. So it's just a little bit of a trade there, I guess. Like I said, I am a little bit worried about this defense. But I feel like the offense is still going to be amazing, and I feel like the Rams are still going to be a very good team. Week 1 at the Lions. A rematch of the playoff wildcard game from last year. Jared Goff versus Stafford once again. I do think the Lions, though, with it being at home, I think they win. I think they beat not the Panthers. I think they beat the Cardinals on the road. I think early in the season they get the Niners at home. I think that'll be a win. I just feel like I don't think the Niners will go undefeated in this division, so I feel like the Rams, I feel like the Rams can get it done against the Niners, especially with it being early at home. I think they'll win that game. Sorry, excuse me. I think at the Bears, I think that'll be a win. I just feel like, I don't know. I think early in the season the Bears are going to start a little bit slow. I think the Rams get it done. I think the fact that they get this game at home against the Packers, I think they win there. This is not an easy stretch here to start off the season, the first 5 weeks. I think they go 4-1, though. I think the Rams start off pretty hot. Coming out of the bye, I think they win both of these games. I think they're just by far better than both of these teams. I think they lose, though, on the road against Seattle. I think they beat the Dolphins at home. I have the Rams starting out. What is this? 7-2. I also have them beating the Patriots and the Eagles. So I actually have them starting out 9-2. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like a lot of the good teams they play are at home. When you look at this team, I don't have them being the Lions, but they get the Niners at home here. They get the Packers at home. They get the Dolphins at home. They get the Eagles at home. I don't know. They really don't have too many tough road games on the schedule. When looking at the bottom half, though, I feel like there's going to be a stretch here for the Rams where they just get cold. In all honesty, and I feel like it's right in this range. I think they lose at New Orleans coming off of their bye. I feel like they can't keep this up. You know, I could see a world where the Rams start off this hot and, people start freaking out. Oh, are the Rams going to win the division? I think they lose home against the Bills. I think coming off of this Bills game, these two games, these two defenses are going to give the Rams offense troubles. And in all honesty, I don't see the Rams defenses really being able to handle either of these teams' offenses. And if the Rams can't score, I don't think they're going to have much success. So I think they lose both of those games. I do think they finish with a win over the Cardinals and a win over the Seahawks, though. I have them going 11-6, and I could see this being a little bit high. It could definitely bump down to 10-7. I just feel like with the fact that they get a lot of these good games, like against good teams at home, I just feel like they're in for a good season. And like I said, I feel like the offense can even expand and get better than they were last year. Again, I am concerned about the defense a little, but I do think the Rams have a very good season. I have them going 11-6 and getting the 6th seed in the playoffs. But looking at the team that's going to win the division, I don't think this is any surprise. I think it's going to be the Niners. I think the Niners are going to be the best team in the league. And yeah, looking at the schedule, I think they'll win week 1 against the Jets. I think they beat the Vikings. They're just better than the Vikings. I think they'll lose against the Rams with it being early. But I think these two games are very easy. I think they go into Seattle, beat the Seahawks. I think week 7 against the Chiefs, the fact that they get this at home, both these teams are, the Niners are coming off a long week. The Chiefs are coming off a bye, so this is going to be a very good game. Look at this back-to-back. I think the Niners win both of these. I just think they're better than honestly, I think they're roster-wise better than the Chiefs, and I think they're better than the Cowboys. I think, in the playoffs, it leans more quarterback defense. But I think roster-wise, as a complete team, I think the Niners are better. So I think they'll win the regular season game. They also get it at home. And I do think they beat the Cowboys. Going into the bye, I think coming out of the bye, I think they'll beat the Bucks on the road. I think they'll beat the Seahawks once again. I think they beat the Packers in Lambeau, and I think they beat the Bills on the road. I think they beat the Bears at home. I don't think the Bears are good enough, unfortunately, to beat the Niners. I think they'll beat the Rams in the second game. I have the Rams winning the first game. I think at Miami, I do think that's a loss, just because it's in Florida. It's a pretty far flight. And the Miami offense is going to have some of those games where they just explode and score like 49 points. I feel like this could be one of them, so I do think the Niners lose that game. I think they win, though, Monday night against the Lions. And at this point, they're going to be 14-2. They'll have the NFC wrapped up. They'll have the division wrapped up. I think they lose just because they're going to be sitting their starters against the Cardinals. I'm going 14-3, getting the best record in the league and getting the 1 seed in the NFC. I just think they're the best team, roster-wise, top to bottom. I feel like Brock Purdy's going to continue to get better. Christian McCaffrey, still there, still doing his thing. They bring back Brandon Ayuk. That was a big talking point. They signed him. Debo's there, George Kittle, and looking at the defense, they're just stacked as always. It's in my opinion the best roster in football. I think the Niners go 14-3, win the division and get the 1 seed in the NFC. So yeah, that's going to do it for the NFC West preview. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you go down there, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on the noties. We do college basketball, college football, NFL, NBA, and MLB. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure you go down there, subscribe, comment down below what you think, what you agree, what you disagree. Love to respond to those. As always, links in the description. Discord, X, Twitch, TikTok. Follow all those. Join those. With all that being said, though, hope you guys enjoyed this one. And I will see you guys tomorrow with our college football week 2 top 25. And then Wednesday with our NFL preseason playoff and Super Bowl predictions. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys later in the week with those.